Hello guys, today we are going to learn about routing in React. So let's try to first understand what is routing. Now we know that React by default is a single page application. That is why you are only seeing one route, which was localhost :3000. But in real applications, you need different paths. For example, if I created a web application using React, I would like different URLs. For example, one URL for contact us, one URL for about us, and all these different type of pages, right? So for such situations, we need routing in React. So in the simplest sense, what is routing? Well, I will have a route like you see here, localhost :3000/login, which is the route. And in this route, I should show some page. And the mechanism is very simple. The way routing works is that we map a URL, which is in this case /login, to a component. So when we fire the route /login, it will show me the login component. And that is how React routing works. That means in React routing, what we are doing is that we are mapping a route to a path. So let me write down. What we are doing is we map a route, let us say /login, /login, to a component, which means if I go to /login, show me login component. That is what we call routing. Got it? So we map a route to a component, and here we are mapping the /login to a login component. So I can also map /counter, and I will show the counter component. That is how routing works. Now, from an application point of view, that means from coding point of view, how it works, let's understand. We have a React router DOM package. So we don't get it by default in React. We need to install a library called React router DOM, which is very easy to install. Just run npm install React router DOM, and this library will be available to you. And this library gives me 3 inbuilt components: browser router, routes, and route. These components are available from this React router library. Now I need to just use them in my page like I'm showing you below. First, I will have to write browser router, and all the remaining logic should be kept inside browser router. Next, I need to define routes. So the idea is I will now write a tag called routes, and inside that I will keep all my routes. Like I have kept the route right now for login. Only this much if I do and keep this code in my app.js, I will get the login route working for me. So what we do, we keep all our route inside the routes component or the tag, and browser router is the outer component that keeps all the things within it. So browser router, inside that you keep routes, and inside that you will define all your routes. For example, I have defined a route here, which is route path equal to login. I can also define one more here, which will be route path equal to, let us say, counter /counter. And then I should show a component which I want to show in that place, which will be counter. That is all I need to do in this case. So now if I go to another different path, which is localhost :3000/counter, instead of the login component, I will see the counter component. That is how routing works. Simple, right? So now, all these concepts which we have understood right now, we are going to implement in our project. So let's get started, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm first going to install the library, which is React router DOM. So let me first, close my application, and I will install the React router DOM library. So I'm just going to run npm install, npm install React router DOM. That's it. Press OK. I think I just mistyped npm. It should be npm, not npp. Now this will install the React Router DOM library for me. Next thing, I need to write this piece of code in my app.js. So I believe it will take some time. Let's meanwhile try to go back to our app.js and try to first import these components, which is browser router, routes, and route into my app.js from the library React Router DOM. So browser router, second is routes, and third is route to define individual routes from React Router DOM library, because it already provides me these components. Next thing is I'm going to now go back here inside my HTML, and I'm going to define my routes. So let me write down here first browser router. As we told, this is the outer component inside which all the code is kept. And the next thing is, inside this, I'm going to write another component called routes, and all the routes are kept inside the routes component. And now I will define individual routes. Let it be route. And how do we write it? Route. How do we write it? Route. We define the path here, and the element. Element is actually the component. So route path equal to path equal to login /login /login. And then what is the component that will load? We will keep it in curly braces and write the component as login. Now it is very important for us to also import the login component, which we already have done here. I think I have not done here. So I will need to import the login component, which we created, when we started our, session. So before, we have already created a login component. So login component I've kept here, imported, and now let me try to, write the code completely, close the tag, save it. That is all, guys. This code is sufficient for me to now get my routes working. So what is the next thing? Well, next thing is, let me now restart my application. My library is installed. I'll start my application, and then I'm going to check whether the route is working or not. And how will I check? I will go to the localhost :3000/login, and my login component should show up. That is all we need to do to get our routing working. Matter of fact, we can also define one more path here. So let us try to define one more route this time. This is for counter component. So route, again, path equal to whatever path I want. Let it be counter, and element equal to, in curly brace, I will write counter. And I've already imported the counter back in the top. Okay, we can see here. So that is how I can define my two routes. So I should be having two routes, and when I go to login, I should see the login component. When I go to counter, I should see the counter component. Let's save this piece of code and now try to verify if our application is working or not. Okay, yeah, okay. We have some error. So let's see what is the error. Okay. Unexpected token line number 20. Yeah, line number unaccepted token line number 27. 27/routes. Okay, yeah, okay. Something is not right here. I get it. So I have not closed my second route, tag, which was the error. So I need to, of course, close my, tags also, which is the route tag, the second one. Save it, and let us see if our application is working. All right. So as of now, my page is coming. So let me now try to, verify if my code works. So going back, let me try to first go to /login route and press enter. And wow, I'm able to see my login component appearing, which is wonderful. Next, let me try to go to counter. And now instead of the login component, it should show me the counter component. Enter, and yes, I can see the counter component in the top. For clarity, what I'm going to do is from the app.js file, I'm going to remove, this particular code, which is, to show and hide the counter. All these things, we will remove it now, which we did in the previous session. And let us now, make our code, make our code cleaner, the app.js file, clean it, save it, and I believe now it should be better. So let's now go back to our home page. And in the home page now, I will just see welcome to React application. Again, let's go to login. And yes, the login tag is visible. Good. I think there is some CSS which needs to be, changed. I believe I just need to go to app.css file. And here the width, which I've set up for my, login, which is 25. I'll make it 30%. This should most likely do the job. Okay, and it's looks fine now. Next thing, let's try to go to counter and see if it is working fine. Counter, and again, the counter is also visible. So simple, guys. That's all. That's all we need to make our routing working. And now my React application have different URLs, which will show different UI. That's as simple as it is. So we will stop here now, and next we will try to understand what is link tag. So meanwhile, guys, please write this piece of code, make it working, and then we will move to the next discussion on React routing. So guys, I hope you have coded this particular example. And now let us move to the next discussion where we will look further into React routing. So now my React routing is fine, but let me also try to link it. So what is linking? That means I will give a path also. So let me do first the traditional way. I'm going to write a href equal to and give a path, which is going to be, I can just write here login, which will go to login. Actually, /login is better. And close the a tag, the link tag. So we are just doing the linking here. And the next thing is we need to again do the linking for counter. And let us see if we are able to get it working. Save it. And first is for login, and second is for counter. So now I have two links appearing, and in fact, I can also give one link for homepage. So let's see. This is my homepage, which is working fine. Let me now go to login. Login works fine. Let me go to counter, and counter is also working fine. Good. Everything is fine, but there is just one simple problem. And the problem is that, you see, guys, here, every time I, go to a link, the entire page is getting reloaded, which means it is a traditional URL. And this is not a very good thing, because when the entire page is reloading, it will load the entire scripts, the JavaScript files, the CSS, and the HTML together, making my page slower. And this is what we don't want. We want that we should be able to go from login to counter to home, but the page should not reload. And we can do that with the special tag called link tag, which is provided by the React Router DOM library. How do we use it? Let me just remove these regular tags, or let's just keep them. And now inside the browser router, I can write here link to, which means what is the path, which is going to be login for the login tag, and close the link tag. And inside this, I'm going to write, the text that will represent the URL, which is going to be a login. Give a line break again. And then same thing I can also do for my, counter. So we have login and counter URLs, save it, and let's try to see if this is working fine. So I can see that I have multiple URLs coming in, login, counter, home. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a couple of line breaks here so that we are able to understand which are the routes. This is the normal route, and the next ones are our special route. So I will write here as, special route login and a special route counter. Special route counter. Save it. And now let us try to first try the regular route. If I click on login or the counter, the page is reloading. Now let me go to special login route. And you see, the moment I click on it, wow, the route is loaded. The component is also visible. UI changes, but you will see that the entire page is not reloading. You can verify it better by opening your console, and in the console, we can go to network, where we can see our network. Let me just go here to network. And now let me just first hit the regular counter. Let's go to homepage first and go to counter. And you will see so many files loaded, right? You are able to see, here it is. You can see so many, JavaScripts and everything getting loaded. Now let us go to go to our special route, which is coming from the link tag, and see what happens. I click on it, and you will see that the network tab is clean. Same thing for counter, the network tab is clean, which means no libraries and no page reload happens. And that is what we want from our React application, to work fast and still provide us multiple route options to go to different pages. So we will remove these regular routes now. We don't need them. And we will now go with our special tag, which is link tag, which is able to link it to the route that we provide, that we create here in our route tag. So that is all, guys. Now, why don't you also write this piece of code and see if you are able to get it working, and then we will move on to something more interesting details about routing.